Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Imola as the Battle of the Radicals continues at the Radical Race Series, Season 3 of 2026. We're going to be at the 1/3 marker by the time we are at end of this round, 8 rounds to go, 4 down here after we've been at Imola tonight. The usual 2-race format is returning once again, that being, of course, the opening race of 10 laps and a feature race of 16 laps to come, and the usual BOP is in play as well, which I can tell you for this week is a weight penalty of 45 kilograms to the SR8 and an extended and a slight expansion of engine power by 3%, and a weight reduction for the SR10s of 40 kilograms, but also a power reduction of 2.5% this week at Imola. Always a discussion point, always something to look at and look into and see how they balance. Generally, though, week on week, we've had very, very close racing between SR8s and SR10s, despite their different characteristics, as we've commented on throughout. Ewan O'Leary with you, along with James Parfitt, for this latest round of the championship. Good to be alongside you for it. James here from Imola. I must say, not one of my usual fancied circuits, but it's one of the circuits of the world, I believe anyway, where the Radicals, in whatever form it is, SR8 or SR10, are small enough in their size and just about slow enough, they're still pretty quick, but just about slow enough to make even a track like this quite interesting and quite good racing, when sometimes it can be a little bit difficult in that regard.
Absolutely. And the thing with that is, as well, is because there's so many overtaking opportunities here, you can get it on the run down into Tamburello, the first chicane down that long straightaway, come out of that final corner, and it's just a long run down into turn number 1. Even after that, going up to Villeneuve, you've got an opportunity. Into Toza, you've got an opportunity. Can you make a dive in Piratella? Yeah, you can, but you've got to be very, very careful in the process. So there's lots to where these can overtake each other, which is great. I wouldn't probably recommend it going into Gressing, turn 14 and 15. That's going to be very, very difficult if you start trying to go too wide in there. But I think anywhere else on the circuit, there's a passing opportunity. Even going down into Ravazza, you've got the double left-hander. I think, again, people still can make an overtake. So I'm hoping that we see some good battling going on here at the moment. There are 11 drivers on track. Ray Peasley as well is just joined onto the circuit as well. So I think this could be a really good race and a really good fight between the guys at the front. George Gonzaga's back, Heinz Braun's here, Simon Renard's here, and Gullickson's here as well. We all know they can battle around. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this one goes.
Yep, all strong drivers at the front once again, and Mike Booston's here as well. That's a joke. Anyway, let's have a look at the. I hope he doesn't watch it back. Let's have a look at the championship standings. Starting with the SR8s, who've got most points. Simon Renan is leading the way with 229. He's got 10 more than Mike Booston, who's just coming here towards the end of another qualifying lap. And third in the standings, Oleg Gullickson. They're and Stefan Mellis has also been at all 3 rounds so far, by the way. And they're all here again today, from what I can see. Yes, they are. So I hesitated there. I thought I was getting Harvard Gullickson mixed up with Oleg Gullickson, but they're actually both here, so there you go. But those 4 have been here the entire time, and especially the top 3 covered by a very small, just 17 points after 3 rounds. In the SR10s, it is Ray Peasley leading the way, and by the way, Peasley's got less points than each of the top 3 in the SR8s. Phil Glover is in second in the SR10s, only 2 points behind. Patricio Silva's then only 3 points further behind, and then there's a much bigger gap to Dominic Pavera. He's the last driver to have been at all 3 rounds so far this season. So that's how we stand at the top of the standings anyway in this season. I mean, the thing that grabs my eye initially is the fact that Phil Glover's had such a great season, but he's not here today, so that's not going to continue. As you say, the Ray Peasley gets in here quite late, and we do have the other championship leader, Simon Renan, currently in here and currently on the pole as far as the SR8s are concerned as well.
Yeah, he is sitting in third overall at the moment. Yeah, we've got no Phil Glover, no Robert Woodward. I don't like Robert Woodward at the moment, partly because Robert Woodward is at Goodwood. Festival of Speed, and I was supposed to be there tomorrow, but unfortunately I'm on the operating table instead. So I'm praying, though, really I shouldn't, but I'm praying that they ring me in the morning and tell me they've moved it to Saturday, and then I can go to Goodwood.
I mean, if that happens, then I would also buy a lottery ticket on the way, because you'd be quite fortunate. Anyway, let's have a look at the starting grid for race 1, shall we? George Gonzaga has taken the pole with Heinz Braun. It's an all SR10 row 1 and then an all SR8 row 2. Not to be too confusing. Simon Renan and Havard Gullikson on that row. Then it's Seth Brown and Patricio Silva back to the SR10s, then back to the SR8s again. Mike Bousson and Ole Gullikson. Ray Peasley is surprisingly down in 9th ahead of Stefan Meles, with Dominic Pavera in 11th place. It will be a top 10 reverse, so almost everybody will be reversed, almost a full reverse grid. But again, it just shows week on week. I'm always so impressed by the BOP in this series, because it must be so hard to do. Given the fact, I mean, I know that GT3 and GT4 and all of these different categories also do it, but it must be so difficult. Yet we've got 4 of each in the top 8, in fact 5 of each in the top 10, which is just great to see in these radicals.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great managing it and getting it together, but the light's coming on, sir.
Yep, a very quick gridding from all of the 11 drivers who are ready to go from Imola tonight. Race 1 of 10 laps is underway, and a good launch from the SR8s in the background, especially Gullikson, who's immediately ahead of Renan there, and he's immediately ahead of Heinz Braun as well. On the way towards Chamborello, he's going to have to brake later. Oh, hold it, and look at that, it's Heinz Braun who's braking late instead. He gets straight past Gonzaga when it looked like George Gonzaga was going to hold the lead himself through the first chicane there. Braun steams into the first corner and he gets the lead away ahead of Gonzaga. Then it's Gullikson who just get in front of Renan. Mike Bousson is right with those SR8 contenders now as well. He moves up to 5th place. As further behind, Patricio Silva's got a black flag. I'm pretty sure he jumped the start at the beginning of this race.
Yeah, he definitely did. It was as soon as he went and done it there as well. Dominic Pavera has just gone round in the background. Unfortunately for him, he's just gone off the circuit. That's allowed Ole Gullikson to go through. But Heinz Braun, great start, coming off a double victory last week as well, and he's now looking to extend that and get another one here this week. But great starting from Heinz Braun, up 1 place as well. Havard Gullikson up 1. He's sitting above Simon Renard in 3rd at the moment, and then you've got Mike Bousson, who's up 2 at the moment.
Gullikson and Pavera are the only ones to have on-track incidents, but Silva as well jumping the start, so a very dramatic start. Meantime, it's a good exit there from Gonzaga over the top of the hill there, and look at the run he's got. He'll be brave to go for it at Ravazza, but it can be done. And Braun was just aware of that, and he just moved it over to discourage Gonzaga enough. He goes a bit wide though, as he's maybe too busy looking in his mirrors. Gullikson and Renan will just close ever so slightly again. But here comes the real advantage of being in behind, of getting the slipstream, and the advantage of running in a radical as well, because you spend longer on this front straight than you do in a lot of other categories of car. And here comes Gonzaga now, straight through. Seth Brown using the straight line speed of the SR10 as well to get straight past Mike Bousson on that occasion, who we know from the last couple of weeks anyway has been running a bit higher wing. He certainly was at Road America in the opening round of the season, a bit higher wing than those around him. And Seth Brown breezes past on the way towards Tamburello there.
Yeah, Simon Renard also got past Havard Gullikson there as well. The big speed difference between the 10 and the 8 at that moment. You could visually see it. Seth Brown come from quite far back and just got the job done over them. So great battling all the way through. Starting to get a little bit of a separation between Heinz Braun and Simon Renard. Not much at the moment, 8 tenths. But obviously with the 10 having more power as such, he will be able to put... I should think he'll be able to pull away, but it's whether or not Renard can keep up with him in the corners.
This circuit's so interesting though in terms of how it's laid out, because it's not a straight, but the run from the actual final corner right the way towards the first braking zone is actually quite long, even though it bends round to the right, it's absolutely flat out the whole way down. But the rest of the circuit should surely suit these SR8s in their cornering ability, and you can see Renan getting pretty close to Heinz Braun now towards the end of the lap. But just as he does that, they're about to get onto that front straight again, and the SR10s are surely about to pull away again.
Yeah, that's the problem, I think. You've got a long third, I think it's second sector, where these guys are literally just managing to open up. We'll keep an eye on the sector times on the bottom. You can see Renard was quicker over 2, 3 and 4, losing it in 1, which isn't a surprise considering most of 1 is basically just full flat right down to Tamburello, and it finishes at the other end of Tamburello. So you can see where the gap's opening up, but we'll keep an eye on the sector times over the lap and see where the 8 can make it up. The question is whether or not he's going to have enough time to get close enough and stay there. However, he is very, very close at this moment in time, so maybe Renard can make a move.
also the problem is overtaking here. It's difficult to overtake through the turns around here at Imola, and that's exactly what you have to do if you're in an SR8 here versus an SR10. You can't wait for the straights and slipstream pass, because even with the slipstream, you're not going to be getting anywhere. So it's difficult to also make your passes. There's a little bit of a straight here on the way towards Piratello, which just helps those SR10 stay away a little bit, but as you can see, actually Renault loses a bit in Sector 2, slightly unusually that time round, but Sector 1 unusually also gained a little bit on Braun, who I think is having his pace dictated a little bit by Gonzaga, who last lap was pulling away. This lap is right under pressure from Braun again.
Yeah, exactly. And I think most of that, from where Renard got that draft and got that Sector 1 time, was basically coming down the straight, and he got the draft in behind him and it pulled him ahead. You can see over the rest of the lap, he's got nothing in response. He's lost 3 temps. However, Braun did just make a mistake going through Gressin there, 14 and 15, and literally he's now got Renard tucked up behind him, hence he's 2 temps quicker again. But it's what happens when they go round and everybody has a clean lap. Can Renard stay with Braun, or is Braun going to be able to stay with Gonzaga? How's this going to work? You know, I expect the 10s to be opening up a bit of a gap here coming down this start-finish straight.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're close to a second ahead of Renault, to be honest. Maybe it's not going to be quite that dramatic with Renault in the slipstream, but it's already 2/3 of a second just as they come around to the left here, and just as they get to the braking zone, they're all defending from one another. So there you go, gets to 7 temps, but Renault's going to be able to really drag this in very quickly now, because the two of them are fighting as well. Braun just clips that inside curb there, which might prevent him from having a chance at Villeneuve, or he might well get a chance anyway. He's on the outside. He can't quite go round there. It would have given the inside for the right-hander, but he can't quite do it. That's only going to slow them down even more for Renault, who will be faster than them anyway through this section of corners. He's still not able to get involved, though. It still feels like a 2-horse race. Yeah,
he's very, very close to grabbing hold of the draft and being able to stay with him at the moment, Renard. He just cannot get them. Currently can't get close enough. He needs them fighting. The problem is these two, when they do fight, will bring him in, but it's whether or not they're going to. And I don't know if there's intentions there to fight at the moment from Gonzaga and Braun. It doesn't look like it. I think Braun's got to tidy up the lap. I think if he can tidy up the lap and break Renard completely away from slipstream, get it out to 7, 8, 9 temps, I think it's going to be a 2-horse race. But it's how Renard is basically managing the corners. You can see Busson's tucked up behind Brown at the moment as well, so Busson getting a little bit close to Seth Brown. But again, they're coming through down into Ravazza. They've got the double left-hander, and then it's a straight, and they've gone again.
Gonzaga's got wide that time. He might have been looking in his mirrors too much in towards Ravazza, and Gonzaga slips back to second. Heinz Braun to the lead, just as he managed to get on lap number 1 when he was steaming down the inside in towards Tamburello, taking the race lead away from George Gonzaga. Well, it's time for Gonzaga to have a go at getting it back again, because he's straight back in the slipstream, and he's straight back past again. He's not quite clear. Braun's still on the inside. Oh, Gonzaga thought about cutting across him, and Braun hits the curb. He's gone, and this is the big chance for Renan. Oh, and into the back of him, Havik Gullikson. He's going to be out of this now, surely, as he hits the back of him, and he surely gets damaged. This is the big chance for Renan, though, because he's right on the back of Gonzaga, right after the moment where the SR10s are strongest.
Yeah, and Braun's got nothing left. Let's have a look. You watch here from Gullickson's point of view. There was a brief little contact, goes out onto the marbles. He's got nothing, then comes and puts it straight back into the middle of the circuit. And then all of a sudden, he's now got a very looming Seth Brown, who's going to go whizzing past him, and so is Mike Busson. So Heinz Braun unfortunately loses 2 places in that confrontation there and goes down the order into 3rd. There's also been swaps with Seth Brown, Mike Busson. Busson's got it back in front of Brown, and Braun's coming at him again. So there's a fight up front, there's a fight here, and there's a fight further back with Stefan Mellis and Ray Peasley having a good old ding-dong further back. So 3 little battles to keep an eye on. At the moment, though, we'll see how Renard and whether or not he can get the lead.
He really should have got the lead on this lap, to be honest, because when is he going to get it otherwise? He's not going to get a better opportunity than this one, I don't think. Gonzaga's going to hold on. You see how close he's getting. And again, the problem that I stated earlier on about overtaking through the corners is going to be hurting him a bit. But even so, he can't quite get past. He's staying in the slipstream quite closely. And here he comes. Is he just holding? It looks like he's able to only just hold there. So he can't quite get any closer when he's at that distance, but he can at least stay that close. Busson, by the way, has been freight trained by Brown and Braun in the background. And there you go. Busson back to 5th again after being in 3rd. It is such a disadvantage being slower in a straight line. I know it evens out over the course of a lap time, but it is a big disadvantage being so slow on the straight line, and Bussen with all that work to do again back in 5th.
Can he do the work? Can he get there? That's the problem. It's all right getting there and overtaking, but it's the same for Renard. Once you get there and overtake, you're just not going to be able to keep it again when it comes to the run down the start-finish straight. And as long as Gonzaga can stay where he is through the middle of the circuit from Tamburello down to Acqua Minerale, he should be good for the rest of the lap, right? Because he's got the pace over Renard. I don't know. The 10's just, I think it's just got too much beef at the moment.
It looks like it. Gonzaga just has to put the car in the right places. Oh, Silva's been disqualified. Dear me. I've seen him trying to serve his penalty. Doesn't seem to know what kind of a penalty it is because keeps not serving it properly. Oh, Gonzaga's off this time. This might be the moment this time. It really might be. Oh, and Renard makes a mistake. That was the moment, and he's very nearly thrown it away there, the Canadian. He slid his way out of the final turn there, and that might give Gonzaga the chance to get back. Despite running through the gravel, coming through the final turns, he's still going to get onto the front straight and roar back past Renard again. Unbelievable. Gonzaga really gets away with one there.
Oh, but he was lucky. He was lucky. But it must be so disheartening for the boys in the 8s. They can get ahead, but they just can't stay there. It's got to be guttering. You're just sitting there and just watching this 10 go past you as if you stood still. It must be so hard for them.
Oh, Braun goes down the inside of Seth Brown, and this is the chance that Bussen needs to take. There's the exit that he's got off to Tozer, but he can't use it. Oh, he's trying to use it. He's trying to go all over the road, but he can't find any space. He couldn't make it 3 wide. Heinz Braun prevented him from doing that. Now he gets to the inside and through. Bussen's got to follow the leader of this fight, or the winner of this fight, I should say. Seth Brown might keep his nose alongside here. Braun's on the outside sliding. They'll get away with it through Acqua Minerale. Now can Bussen do anything? He's still stuck there. He cannot get involved. This is, again, the problem for these SR8s, as Seth Brown has another look on Heinz Braun. Mike Bussen, despite all of that, not able to take advantage.
You just can't. This is the thing. They're almost there with the BOP, and they're almost there, and they can just about get there, but they just got to reduce that power of the 10 a little bit more, because although it makes it weaker in the corners, it just doesn't do them any favours. They're just going to motor away. It's like Renard's 3 attempts back. Gonzaga's had the clear lap as well. We've got Craig Jones in YouTube chat. How many times has Parfitt moaned about Goodwood? I've only moaned once, thank you very much. So far, yes. I actually moaned to Robert Woodward in the Discord as well. But there we go. So technically it's twice, but only once on the broadcast. But yeah, they just can't get there. They're almost there with the BOP. They just got to I think, bring the power down a little bit more on the 10, and then it'll be just a straight fight with driver skill.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because the lap times are clearly so comparable between the two, but and there's trouble. This is the sort of stuff it creates trouble through the Tozer hairpin, and Bussen is able to take both of them. Seth Brown and Heinz Braun have been having this fight for some time, and it's unfortunately ended in contact. Actually not due to really any attempt to make a pass there, and Heinz Braun waits for Seth Brown because he realises his error. He wasn't trying to overtake here. He just misjudges this.
But why was Brown so slow? Look.
Well, he wasn't. I think Braun was too fast, But
that's weird. But he has let him go back through, but
yeah,
he seemed very, very slow indeed there. Gullickson's got to slow down, unfortunately, for him. Now for Mike Bussen. Can he pull away and stay ahead of these guys?
I think he'll be able to stay away, especially with only 2 laps left. But getting past them in a fair fight might have been more difficult. Mellis also involved, by the way, in that slowdown for Gullickson further back there. Mellis has got a meatball indeed. I think those 2 incidents are related. Maybe they're not. Mellis has him picking himself out of the barrier.
Oh, it is.
Oh, he's just following Gullickson.
Yeah.
He just spins.
Puts himself in the wall, unfortunately, for Stefan there. But yeah, now Heinz Braun, Seth Brown closing in on Mike Bussen. They're 8 temps back at the moment.
Yeah, they are closing. To be fair, they're not going away. Neither is Simon Renaud, to be fair, in the battle for the lead, but that gap is coming up to 3/4 of a second now, about 2/3 of a second, something like that. And means surely George Gonzaga is on his way potentially towards a victory here in race 1 tonight. But let's see here. So we're on board with Seth Brown. Can he do anything here about Mike Bousson? Because don't forget that the next time they come down the front straight is the last time they're going to go all the way down the front straight, which means that really there's only one more chance in towards turn 1 for these guys, and I do think they're too far back.
Yeah, I think they might be just a little bit at the moment. I don't think they're going to get close enough as well. Jonesy, that crash was weird. Did he have a slowdown? No, he didn't have a slowdown. He just looked slow. It looked like he was just very tentative going into the corner, Seth Brown, and I think Heinz Braun just ran up the back of him. I don't really know how else I can explain that, to be blatantly honest. It was a bit weird, even from my point of view. But into the Ravazza we go, double left, Bousson still staying ahead. Can he stay ahead if he stays ahead down the straight, though? That's the question.
I think if he gets to the end of this straight in front, then he'll be almost certainly in front by the start-finish line next time round as well. Just watch the gap come back, though. It is remarkable. I think it is the most severe for Bousson compared to anybody else because of his downfalls. But yeah, Seth Brown is properly there now. Maybe one more lap and he would have been able to get past here. But can Bousson now do the job through the corners? This is where the SR8 is going to prevail. Can it do the job through the corners here to just stay far enough in front to secure a podium in this first race if he holds on?
My fear is the run from Tosa to Piratella, then Piratella to Aquaminerale, and then down into Ravazza. I think if Bousson can stay ahead over the next couple of corners into Piratella, he might just about hold on to this. He's also got a very long run down to the start-finish line. So if Brown is close enough going down that coming out of that final corner of Ravazza, then he's going to be near or nearabouts right alongside as they go over the line.
Well, yeah, maybe. We'll keep an eye on the photo if there is one. But out front, it is going to be George Gonzaga, who is going to go on to take the race victory here in race number 1. He's had trials and tribulations. He's been off down here in the gravel at Ravazza on one occasion. That allowed Simon Renaud through very briefly, but Gonzaga was able to win that lead back again, and he's actually extended a lead for the first time today, right towards the very end. The opening race of the day here in Imola goes to George Gonzaga, and is it going to be a double podium for these SR8s? It will just about be, but Seth Brown coming quickly towards the end. The finish line, is much sooner than the start line, where Seth Brown probably would have been in front if it was a start-finish line, but the finish line is just a little bit earlier in the road, and so Bousson does hang on to a race 1 podium. Yeah,
it does, just about there for Mike, but very, very close. That run down to the line. Sergio is a bit longer than normal and done a great job. Hubbard comes over there behind his brother, and then Dominic Pavera does come over the line. I'm not entirely sure what happened to Patricio Silva. He went into the pits and then
just disqualified.
He did this. I'm not quite sure what he did, to be honest with you.
He for some reason couldn't clear his black flag. I don't know why not. But
did that. Yeah, it's weird.
He came in the pit lane 3 times. I wonder if his penalty was supposed to be a drive-through, but he came in 3 times, stopped in his box each time, and eventually, obviously, on the end of the 3rd time, you've run out of laps to be able to serve your penalty. So he eventually got disqualified. A very odd disqualification, but just didn't serve his penalty. So ends up out the race and ends up the only one not to benefit from this reverse grid. Even Stefan Mellis will start on the pole here.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting for the 8s, isn't it? How are they going to hold on to this from that pole position?
Well, 3 of the top 4 they will be. So yeah, are they going to be able to hold on at the front or not? But it's George Gonzaga in the 10s who has won this race. In the end, finishing just in front of Simon Renaud. The battle behind Mike Bousson just beating Seth Brown to the line. Heinz Braun was in there as well. Ray Peasley was on his own there towards the end. 6th place, ahead of Ole Gulliksen, then Haver Gulliksen. Dominic Pavera, the last driver on the lead lap in front of Stefan Mellis, who did at least cross the line there. Patricio Silva did not. Hopefully he does race in race 2, though. He will start from 11th. Yeah, 3 of the top 4 will be Radical SR8s here, which is going to be interesting. If they can hold on to the lead, or at least some of these leading positions in towards Tamburello on lap number 1, we're going to see what they can do through the middle sector on this opening lap and see if that is enough to pull them away far enough to keep these SR10s at bay. But we know, obviously, when they get onto the front straight that they really don't stand much of a chance.
No. Not at all. I don't really know what else I can say about that, to be honest. They don't stand much of a chance, and I'm not quite sure how they intend to be able to stay ahead. I think they're going to have to defend absolutely crazy. They're going to have to literally park the bus to be able to stop these 10s coming through, especially on that start-finish straight. I think that's going to be a difficult one.
Yes. That's where the most passing has been happening on the front straight at this circuit. Just to give you an idea, by the way, of the tracks coming up. Let's see this dynamic return again. Road Atlanta is next week. Could be a fairly similar dynamic, I suspect, on the back straight there between the SR10s and the SR8s. Silverstone Grand Prix circuit, a bit more of a Grand Prix circuit to get to the halfway point. Willow Springs will be an odd one to go to, round 7. Lime Rock Park, maybe one more for the SR8s, and maybe same at Circuits Older, maybe same at Phillip Island, Mossport. Maybe there'll be some tracks for these SR8s a little bit later on in the season, obviously ending at Interlagos, as all seasons should, as we know. So glad that we've got that this season. But yeah, some different circuits coming up where this sort of balance may happen again. As I say, Road Atlanta next week is perhaps the best example of that. This similar sort of thing returning again. There's the grid. It is pretty much the top 10 flipped. Pretty much the entire grid flipped indeed from race number 1. But Patricio Silva is at the back. This launch off the line for Stefan Mellis and the other SR8s around is very, very important indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. The question is can he do it?
Indeed.
What do you reckon?
I think he will get to turn 1 first.
Fourth,
I don't know.
By the time he gets to turn 1.
I don't think. I'd be surprised if that's the case. I think. I think he's going to hold on to at least side by side for the lead, and obviously therefore with the inside because of where he is in towards turn number 1. And if he can hold on from there, then maybe he's got a chance because he does have the 2 Gullicksons also in an SR8 just in behind there. Of course, with the reverse grid, in theory, the fastest drivers are further towards the back, although I would say Heinz Brunn's quite high up in 6th place, considering his pace. He's largely down there because of the incident with Seth Brown in that opening race of the day. Let's see how race 2 goes, though. 16 laps this time round for the reverse grid race at the Radical Race Series. And it's a terrible start from Provera. And a great one from Hubert Gullickson again. He got a great one from the second row previously. He's going to get one again and take the lead potentially in towards turn number 1 and does so in towards Tamburello. Do they all get through cleanly? No. Ollie Gullickson goes through the gravel, so does Heinz Brunn. And off the other side of the circuit is Ray Peasley off to the left there through Tamburello. It's a little bit of chaos to begin race 2.
Yeah, he definitely did not get off to the line there as well. Fair play to Stefan Mellis. He's not in fourth by the end of turn 1, which is always good for him. Bit of drama down later on. Ola Gullickson, Heinz Braun and Ray Peasley all went off the circuit. We saw Peasley go off to the left-hander. Gonzaga is having his own little battle, as you can see, just below us there with Provera, getting very, very close together indeed. So we'll find out, see how George gets on, whether or not he's going to be able to make his way back up towards the front. Is quicker, of course. Heinz Braun in the 10 has already made up 3 places, sitting in 3rd at the moment.
And that was a very important pass as well there to make it into 3rd ahead of Ola Gullickson. Oh, and he's now gone. That's a free one for Mike Boosen. And Simon Renan's going to come through as well as Seth Brown and George Gonzaga. So they all get a free one there as Ola Gullickson goes off at Acca Minerale, where he got to slow down at least once in the opening race of the day. They do have quite a few seconds to catch up, especially to Hubert Gullickson. But they do have plenty of time on their side. But first up will be Stefan Mellis. Maybe there'll be a fight amongst themselves, first of all, of course. Boosen and Renan in here are indeed SR8s. Let's see whether Seth Brown and George Gonzaga have got a chance by the end of this front straight to make a pass.
Yeah, the important thing from Renard and Buson is don't fight each other. You can't afford to fight each other. You have to try and just stay with Heinz Braun. You can see him motoring away on the finish straight there. Renard's got to the inside, does the complete opposite. Buson didn't really fight it. They shouldn't have really lost that much time to Heinz Braun. Braun's now coming up to the back. He's gone past Stefan Mellis, who's just made a mistake and hit the sausage curbs on the way in.
That was a big slide from Renan that time round, and the knock-on effect sees Seth Brown down the inside of Mike Buson in towards the Villeneuve chicane. He can't quite do it on the way through that time round, so has to stay behind. And there'll be single file again, but yeah, Stefan Mellis is going to start to slip into this field now. Again, the question is whether they can catch Gullikson. 4 seconds, but there's still 14 and a half laps to go, which seems like plenty of time.
It does, yeah, and they do gain pace over the race, of course, but this mainly separated from Gullikson's 141, Heinz Braun's 145. We'll have a better idea how this one goes. Mellis is off, unfortunately, so he's all the way back down in 7th, possibly 8th, because Patricio Silva has just got past him as well. So unfortunately for Stefan Mellis, gone from the dizzy heights to down near the back end. But yeah, great fighting in this section here. Gonzaga tucked up behind Seth Brown, of course Brown closing in on Buson. So does Gonzaga really want to fight, or is he going to allow him to get onto the back of Buson before he then does that?
Let's see, the front straight always tells a story here as they come through that final corner, and now here we go again. Seth Brown and George Gonzaga surely are going to be straight through here on Mike Buson, and Gonzaga knows it. Oh, in fact, he's going to make it 3 wide. Is he going to try and trap Brown in behind Mike Buson here, or is that not going to be quite the space for that? It is 2 wide on the front straight for that, so he goes through the middle, Seth Brown. Buson doesn't stand a chance, but Gonzaga's going to get them both. He moves up to 4th place. Seth Brown stays where he is in 5th, and it's Buson, the real big loser out of that one, as he drops down to 6th.
On that start-finish line, and unfortunately for him, both of them just motored past him. I'm a little bit worried about Renard in front with these two coming at him as well. The problem is obviously Gullikson up front has also got Heinz Braun, and it's now a 1:37.7 for Braun last time out as well, 1:38.16, and that 1:38 was Gullikson's best lap of the race. Little bit worrying.
Yeah, indeed. Let's see how it develops continuing on, though, if that can be held all the way through. As there's more trouble behind between Ole Gullikson and Stefan Mellis, by the way. Pavera was round them as well. Don't think got into the same trouble, though. At least not this time. Mellis ran wide here, allowing Gullikson back through. Well, I don't know whether he was trying to allow Gullikson back through there or he wasn't, but anyway, they make contact in towards Minerale, and that's how that group splits apart back there. Disappointed for Stefan Mellis, really. After starting on the pole, he's already back to 10th again, where he was anyway, after only 4 laps.
Yeah, a bit disheartening for him there, unfortunately for Stefan, but you know, he's got to just pick himself up and keep trying to go again and go again and go again and see how he gets on. Seth Brown back in behind Mike Buson. Let's have a look and see where this one took light. Buson's up the inside, I think into 14 he is, and he got the inside line and job done over him. But then again, as we know, with this one, the 10 faster on the straight, so we'll see what goes on with Seth Brown and whether or not he can stay there.
Indeed. Yeah, you'd imagine he'll be back ahead of Buson before long, but let's wait and see. Gonzaga is catching up to Simon Renan at the moment for 3rd position here. So that's still a 2nd, but he is closing. And Heinz Braun is the one really making the difference at the front of the race. We're about to hit 1/4 distance, and in fairness, in that time, he's only gained half a second. He does need to increase his rate of closing from that, but he has chopped off half a second of Ole Gullikson's lead here.
Yeah, he has at the moment, but over the period of time. How's that going to pan out? He's literally 137.3, 137.4. So both of them in and around the 137s. So we'll find out how we get on there as well, and whether or not these guys are going to be able to get closer. I think Braun's going to have to go on a bit of a march and do quali laps, lap after lap after lap here to try and catch Gullickson, but it's always possible for him to be able to get there. Go Gullickson, says Kettle Larson in YouTube chat. Welcome in, Kettle. I haven't spoken to you for ages, dude. How are you?
Trying to stay away from Heinz Braun at the moment is Gullickson, as Gonzaga gets closer again to Renan. So not close enough this time to get back onto the podium places, but he's closing at least for now, trying to get to that podium. Brown and Bousson have reverse places as well. Seth Brown now ahead into the top 5. Surely Gonzaga is about to effect a pass as well. Here it does seem that in the longer run sort of race pace that these SR10s are a little bit stronger, but it's difficult to. It's always difficult in a race to actually mark against each other, because all things are never equal, which doesn't help. But the advantage they have on the straights does certainly make overtaking a lot easier, and we might be about to see another example of that with Gonzaga here getting past Renan on the front straight.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's the thing. He's going to go straight through, depending on how he comes out of Grassini there as well, which was formerly Variante Alta, wasn't it? I think, if I remember correctly, before they've changed the name of it as well.
I didn't know it changed, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm sure it was Variante Alta. I'm going to go back and find out now.
Oh, it still was, but
no, it's changed to Grassini from 2021 apparently. So there you go. Apparently from 2021, 14 and 15 is now called Grassini. However, 2009 to 21, it was called Variante Alta.
Okay, well there you go. I didn't know that. Gonzaga is indeed on his way past Renan here, although he's not quite breezed past. He is still side by side in the braking zone, but he's got the inside, and he holds the place. Bousson are also able to stay very close to Seth Brown. That just shows when they're in the draft that it's not like they're bouncing off the limiter or anything, these SR8s. They do have the gearing in them, but they do need to be right up the back of an SR10 and get in their slipstream to actually reach that top speed. But even Bousson was able to do that right in behind Seth Brown there.
Yeah, just couldn't get close enough to him, unfortunately for him, and it just wasn't able to do it. That's the thing. Renard's trying to go back at Gonzaga, but I think Gonzaga's going to be motoring forward at this point. You see Braun is 3.5 seconds up the road from these guys. He's got 2.6 now to Gullickson in front. 36.9 to a 37.3. So Heinz Braun there pulling out basically about, what's that, half a second, give or take, over Gullickson. You see Braun was quicker on 2, 3, 4 and 5.
Yeah, we've seen him quicker, but is he quicker by enough? Is he closing quickly enough is the question, really, I think, rather than is he closing.
5 laps.
He just has started to close by enough. So you see the after lap 3 there, I'd seen what's that, 5 attempts of closing in 2 laps. That wasn't quite enough at the time, but he's gaining nearly half a second a lap now. For the last 3 laps, in fact, he's gained nearly half a second a lap. So yeah, I think it's probably going to be 4 laps, maybe 5, until he's on the back of Gullickson, and that's quite a long time for Gullickson to hold on from Heinz Braun there, really.
Yeah, I think he's going to struggle on that one, just as these guys are going to struggle here as well. Ray Peasley is just pulled up to the back of Dominic Pavera. This is going to be a nice little battle. These are 2 10s together, so depending on how Peasley gets on, of course, coming off a podium last week as well in race 2 for the SR10s, and Peasley goes through. Unfortunately, there's been more drama down the bottom there. Well, a lot of drama for Ole Gullickson. Just cannot get that car rotated, and is he going to get it rotated in front of Mellis? Nope, he lets Mellis go through, but Brown and Bousson tucked up behind each other. We'll have a look at Ollie's very, very shortly.
Bousson just a little bit wide there through Piratello, who's doing the right thing there, trying to take advantage of the SR10 when it is fast, but the SR8, sorry, but couldn't quite do it round the outside that time round at the top of the hill. Let's see what happened to Gullickson here. Oh, he's hit that inside curve very hard, and he's tried to get back going again, but he's spun up the rear tyres too quickly. Watch this there. Yep. gravel all over the tyres, tries to get back going again too hastily and spins around and then very nearly, as you almost predicted correctly, got out in front of Mellis there. Thankfully, he didn't do that though, and he drops to the back of the field, unfortunately. But end of that lap is the halfway mark, or is it the end of the next one? I'm not sure, but we're close to it now for Gullickson, who still holds over 2 seconds. He's held on to a nicer lead this time round. Bousson not close enough to benefit from the slipstream of Steph Brown quite so much this time round, and so for the first time in a few laps, that gap really widens now to 3/4 of a second between those two just briefly.
Yeah, that was the problem. You saw it going the wrong way. You know, normally on the straight, the time comes down. Unfortunately for Bousson, the time went up. I've done that straight away, and this is going up now as well. And this is only a short run here for these guys that they're coping with at the moment, down from Villeneuve down into Tosa. This is where the eight starts coming back at him, but he just can't get there. Can't get there. It's just very, very close. Larson's all right. He's practicing for a race tomorrow. What race is that, Kittle? Let us know.
On a, what is it, tomorrow, Friday night?
Yes.
Almost forgetting myself, to be honest with you. But there you go.
Is that the other Radicals Friday?
The officials one that I do on the iRacing channel is on Friday, but it's only an officials race.
So it's only like half an hour long.
Yeah, basically, yeah. The official splits from the Radical Esports Cup, yeah. So I can't imagine it. Well, maybe it is that, I suppose.
Could be.
You do have to do multiple races of the week, I suppose, to get the points you need and whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe something else. Maybe it's Spa 24. Maybe it's doing Spa 24.
Is that this weekend?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Oh,
Saturday. Well,
painful.
Yeah,
I'm not an endurance man. I can't cope with endurances.
I'm a big fan, but I'm not doing any Spa 24 either. So maybe that's what he's practicing for. I don't know.
I get
Again,
bored.
Bousson not able to gain anything there in behind Steph Brown. Ollie Gullickson has caught up to Stefan. Oh, and he's gone straight on there, Bousson. He missed the corner completely, and that is going to end the battle. He just broke a bit too late. I imagine pushing harder and harder and harder to try and keep up with Steph Brown. Just goes through the gravel, and that will be the end of that. Just as that ends, though, that battle for 7th does now heat up. Dominic Pavera coming onto the front straight here will have a good bit of straight line speed in that SR10, and he will be getting closer to Stefan Mellis, who's just got past him. And Ollie Gullickson's catching them both after his spin a few moments ago.
Just there. That's literally where he spun. He hit the sausage curbs as well. But yeah, this is going to turn into a nice little battle. Oh no, it's not. Gullickson just had a slowdown, a spin and a slowdown for Brawn.
Now he really might run out of time.
Yep. I agree. Could be it.
Almost back to where he was with about 7 less laps to close this gap. So 3.5 seconds in 7 laps at the line. That suddenly, 7 laps pretty much exactly for them because they're coming towards the line now. So that's suddenly much more of a difficult ask.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's going to have... If you're ever going to set yourself a challenge, Heinz Braun has just about done that. He's hugging the wall to try and cut as much short distance down as he can there. He literally come round on the green, which you saw. He's got 6, what's that? It's going to be 7 laps, isn't it? 2.9 seconds back. That's the first time in a while, I think, for Heinz Braun. He's actually become slower. Yeah, 1.1 seconds over Gullickson there as well. But I'm not quite sure if Havard had his own issue because he seems very, very close to him at the moment. But there we go.
I mean, it's just that front straight. We'll have just closed those temps back up again. Oh, Ollie Gullickson's gone off again, I'm afraid, and that battle for 10th place will go away. It's down in towards Rivazza. It's such a difficult braking zone. He's just clipped that curb on the way down the hill, and you know that you're going off so soon before you actually do end up off. In fact, it wasn't quite one of those where he got to the gravel, but he did spin trying to get round the door left-hander in any case. Here we go then. 6 laps to go at the line, and it's going to be quite a fight here, quite a run, because George Gonzaga's getting close to this as well, and there'll be a big discussion as to what happens when he, / if he catches up to Heinz Braun as well.
Yeah, is Gonzaga's going to get there, but the question is how are they going to play this with Havard out in front? Is this where we're going to see Havard be saved because these two are going to have a scrap? And if these two do it, Gullickson will survive till the end.
Yeah, well, indeed. He might do anyway, but yeah, certainly if they fight. Yeah. And this time round, Brown hasn't done enough to really close on Gullickson at all. In fact, he's lost 2 attempts that time round, or just over a tenth. And it needs to be about half a second a lap, to be honest, that he's gaining. And really, he hasn't at all. Maybe he has just been distracted by what's going on in his mirrors. Maybe he's been distracted slightly by Gonzaga homing into view. And that might, just the presence of Gonzaga might just help Gullickson to a race victory here.
Yeah, maybe. I think the fact if George doesn't leave him alone and let them get on with it, I think we could be in deep, deep doo-doo. I think Gullickson's just going to motor away and go, thanks very much, I'm on my bike, son, if these two start scrapping, because I don't think they're going to have enough time. It's got to be down at least 2.5 seconds, if not more, by the end of this lap for him to be able to make it in the next 5. So Gullickson may be able to hold on to this.
I think he's probably favourite now in the stakes for the race win. And look at this, Gonzaga is really, really close behind Heinz Braun and putting some pressure on now as well. This is looking decent for him too. They go over the top of the hill here through the chicane. And here we go down the other side. He's going to do well to actually make a pass at Ravadza, but he might try. Let's see. He's on a... Oh, no, he just lifts off early there and he doesn't try to in the end. So, it will be down towards turn 1 if this is going to happen for George Gonzaga. Gets into the slipstream now. He comes out of the final turn and he is getting towards the back of Heinz Braun here, who pulls it over to the left hand side, looking to go on the defensive, and George Gonzaga rather is going to sweep past here. He's going to have his nose in front. It's not quite over. This is surely confirming it's a fight for second rather than a fight for the win later on, but Braun holds on to it very well. A nice move around the outside there through the second part to hold on to position. It isn't over yet. Gonzaga's coming back inside at Villeneuve, gets him the outside for the second part. Braun's on a tight line. Oh, and it's round the outside from Gonzaga. He does very well to move up to second, but he does confirm that it will be second at best unless there's a mistake from the race leader.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that brief little moment of them two fighting, I think it's all done now. I think Gullickson, as long as he keeps it on the circuit, he will hold on to it. He's got 4 seconds, so not even half a second a lap is going to be 4 laps, sorry. He's not even half a second a lap is going to be quick enough for these guys. They need to do it by a second a lap, and that at the moment has not happened at all throughout the race. They've just got a 36.67 for Gonzaga, 37.37, so 6 tenths there, not enough at the moment.
No, this is 4 laps to go when they get to the line, and Gonzaga looks quicker than Braun anyway here. Josh Gonzaga looks like he's just the quickest driver in this field, full stop really. He's come from 10th in this race, don't forget, because he won the first one, and he's all the way back to second place. That's by far the most that anybody's gained in as far as positions for this race and the previous one, as far as I can remember. So yeah, this is Gonzaga's day really. It looks like it's going to end off with a second in race 2 coming up towards turn 1. He is going to hold off Heinz Braun again, and perhaps 3 seconds to Gullickson. We're almost at second a lap territory here.
Yeah, unfortunately that's going to be about it. You're going to see Gullickson, unless he makes some massive mistake, should be able to take away. But Braun, and I don't know if Braun would have sat there when Gonzaga was doing that, going, why are you doing that? We need to be not fighting to close up. I don't know, maybe Gonzaga was like, nah, I've had enough of this, I'm going for it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he sort of thought, well, yeah, we're not going to catch anyway, so might as well, sort of thing. I don't think he believed that it would be better to be in the lead compared to Heinz Braun in terms of actually trying to catch the leader. I don't think he was really thinking about that as an option anymore. I think he'd realised that ship had sailed, and he's just fighting as best he can for second place. It has sort of worked. He is closing still on Gullickson, and he's again bringing the margin down. But it would be a miraculous, I think, closing of this gap in the next 3 laps if he were to actually do this. He has really gained this time round, so watch out for what these lap times are going to be. We could be seeing another 36 here. Gonzaga is one of only 2 drivers to have managed that so far in this race. Heinz Braun, the only other one. And this could be another 30. Oh, it's another fastest lap of the race from George Gonzaga. A 36.5. And that's 9/10 of a second closed on Gullickson. That is the sort of time gap closing that he needs. And he's got it. If he does that another 3 times, then we might well have a fight for this win going on.
Yeah, he just pulled 9/10 over that lap there, did Gonzaga. And maybe that's why he didn't wait and stay behind Braun. Maybe he just wanted to go and rip off and get it done here for Gonzaga. But at the moment, he's got to do that again. And you see Gullickson just about quicker in through Tozo down there after going into Piratella. He's a little bit quicker as Gullickson and extended the gap, but you can see now where the SR10 comes into his shape. He gets down that straight, motors on and closes it up. A 36.5 for Gonzaga, 37.4 for Gullickson.
Yeah, remarkable. Fastest lap of this race. No surprise. But this time round, I don't think it's been quite as good. I mean, maybe. Let's see what the lap times are saying this time round, but there's only 2 laps to go at the end of this one, and so you'd really want the gap to be below 2 seconds, which it just about will be, but he needs another 2 special laps after this one. Just like the last lap that he had, that was a fastest lap of the race overall. It doesn't need to be absolute purple lap times every time, but it does need to be close to it in the 36s, you'd say, as the fuel load wears off. And those 36 lap times come a little bit more possible. Over the line again, and it is another personal best. Goodness me, 36.3 that time, sorry. A 37.2 is from Gullickson. This is coming down by 9/10 a lap, and he might even be in slipstream range by the next lap, which would be the last time coming down the front straight.
How upsetting would it be for Havard Gullickson to lose this on the final lap when he's been ahead for pretty much all of the race? I'd be gutted for him if that happens. He's almost there. He's got to get down from the final corner at Ravazza down into Tamburello in the lead. If he can do that, he might have a chance coming out of Ravazza on the last lap to hold on to it. If he can't do that, then I think Gonzaga's going to motor past him.
Oh, and that was wide. That was a little bit wide for Commentators. Heinz Braun can't even keep with the pace now. Nobody can stay with George Gonzaga here in terms of the speed. But has he got enough time remaining in this race? Don't forget, he started from 10th here after winning the opening race of the day. He's raced his way through this field up to 2nd. Now he's looking for the win. Gullickson started from 3rd and he was in the lead coming out of the first chicane on the opening lap here. He hasn't had to come through the field in the way that Gonzaga has here. But it might just be that the man who's come from 10th right the way through this field might well come through and steal it away right at the very end here. What a story it would be for George Gonzaga if he could get this one last position on the very final lap. The white flag's waving. He's in the slipstream. It's another 36.2. He's closing. He's coming down the inside. He can't quite do it. Gullickson late on the brakes as always in towards turn 1. And now he's going to have to get creative here, George Gonzaga, and do it somewhere else on this racetrack. Oh, Gullickson slides out of turn 3 as well. 8 of them giving absolutely everything to win this race.
Oh, I thought literally Gullickson left the door open. Now Gullickson's looking ragged and he cannot afford to be ragged. Gonzaga, looks on the inside. Heinz Braun's got a penalty on the final lap. That's 40 seconds straight down to the back end of the film for Heinz Braun. But these guys, Gonzaga has got absolutely pace for days. Can he hold on coming out of Ravazza? I think that's Gonzaga's only opportunity to get him. I don't know unless he does something stupid and dives up the inside, which could end up taking both of them out here, Ewan. But it's coming out of Ravazza. You can see it now from Gonzaga. He has got pace and he's going for it into outer. Is he going to be able to get there? I don't think he needs to get there. I think he's going to make a mistake. Oh, Gonzaga did as well.
Oh, unbelievable. Both of them making mistakes through the final chicane. Heinz Braun's penalty is going to roll him out of this. Gonzaga, he makes contact. Oh, Havard Gullickson's off in a big way. He's going to be out of this race. So he comes back across the road right in front of Gonzaga. Gullickson's gone. Gonzaga slows. Heinz Braun spins. There's well, what a weird end to this race. Gonzaga, I think, is trying to give it him back. Is he trying to give this race win back again? Heinz Braun might well come past to take the win. No, he won't. Gonzaga's going to cross the line first, just in front of Braun, just in front of Gullickson and Renan as well. What a strange finish. What a dramatic finish. But on the road, George Gonzaga takes it.
I don't know what to say.
Wow. Just the smallest bit of contact. The biggest of consequences. Shame to see the battle end that way after a great last lap up to that point between the two of them.
Look at Braun, he got all raggedy coming out the final corner as well.
Oh, you would do, seeing that in front of you, wouldn't you, I suppose? Goodness me. Pavera and Ole Gullickson not finished yet, by the way, either. Trying to do a reenactment, almost. Oh, careful. Yep, that's too late on the brakes from Pavera, and that's the instant limit as well. The guys were getting much... and Gullickson's got one as well, so it's not going to matter for either of them. More of a discussion point than really what we thought it was going to be, but instant limit because Heinz Braun's got there. So have Pavera and Gullickson, and now Gullickson I think has run out of fuel on the way towards the end there.
Yeah.
Or maybe got a slow down, don't know. But yeah, wow, what a finish to race 2 that was there.
That was very bizarre. That was very weird. I'm interested to see these standards now because I've wrote down who I think is going to be in the right place. They are, look, Heinz Braun down in 7th.
Yeah, Heinz Braun with that penalty drops down to 7th place. George Gonzaga wins on the road in front of Ava Gullickson with Sam Renan in 3rd in the end. Seth Brown 4th and Mike Bousson in 5th place. Quite quiet race for him, just in front of Patricio Silva. Heinz Braun does drop to 7th with that penalty. Only just in front of Ray Peasley. Dominic Pavera also got a penalty, by the way, but he was with Ole Gullickson, who also got one. And Stefan Mellis did come through to actually finish that race in the end, but he was 1 lap down in the end. Let's get straight to it, shall we, and chat to George Gonzaga, who was involved in that battle for the win there at the very end. George, welcome in. Good to have you with us. And congrats on taking the victory on the road here tonight, but obviously it's a last lap filled with drama. Just tell us about that last lap and that run to the end, actually, as you were closing on Hova Gullickson there.
Yeah, it was... I don't know what happened, to be honest. I had a chance to look at the incident. I don't know. I think I kind of stayed on the inside, but I think I don't know. Judges, to be honest, if it was my fault, I'm so sorry, Havard. That I really didn't mean. I wanted to be a clean. I was really pushing hard, doing my best to try to get the to close the gap. And on the last lap, I knew I had the chance, but I wasn't trying. I don't know. It was a weird. Final section, so I don't know. You guys tell me what you guys think.
No. No, I'm not going to tell you because I end up getting myself in trouble.
But also, it's difficult to call.
Yeah, I can't. I've looked at it, just looked at it again and there as well, and I can't really decide who was fully responsible for that there as well. You are alongside, so I'll give you that, George. You know what I mean? You are alongside. I don't know.
Think I washed out. I don't think I washed out with understeer that much. That's the only reason I can think of, because I was really trying to hug the curb as much as possible to stay on the inside. But I don't know. It was. I really don't know. If it was my fault, Havard, I'm so sorry for it. I
don't know, but Heinz Braun went off as well. Kettle Larson's in YouTube chat. Kettle, you've asked what's happened. That's what's happened. Tell us what you think. I personally think Havard may have closed in a little bit early. That's my opinion. But again, don't shoot me.
Yeah. Yeah. Go on, Ewan. I want to hear your opinion.
I could see it, and I think probably it will go down in public opinion as a racing incident. Personally, it's probably the margins are very fine there, aren't they? The margins for error are very fine. So I think it would probably go down as a racing incident. All said, but let's see. The few laps before that, though, were just incredible to watch because you were just closing and closing. We had to, I certainly had written you off with a few laps to go as you caught Heinz Braun and then passed him. I thought that was sort of an acceptance from you that you were never going to catch the leaders anyway, but you gave it a very good go and you did get there for the last lap with Hova Gullickson. Just tell us about those few laps preceding it, though, because you must have been pushing very, very hard in that.
Yeah, it was. I made a few tweaks on the second race on the suspension, because I was having a lot of tailwind on the back, so my rears were just getting super hot. So I kind of straightened out a bit more and managed to get more tires towards the end. And I think that's where like it conserved a lot of heat, and I managed to get like really good laps. I was doing 0.2s, 0.3s, a lot of off tracks, which was annoying, but yeah, I was pushing as much as I could. I knew I had the pace, but to be fair, I think the BOP this week, it might be a bit biased towards the 10. I think
Yes.
I've been trying to calibrate as much as I can, and obviously it's just me right now doing the BOPs, and I've been off for the past 4 weeks, so it's kind of hard. But I think we managed to get into a good place. I think it's just trying to get a bit more powered on the straights for the SR8s. I did remove 0.5% of power from last week to try to get the 8 to close as much as possible. But I think on this track, particularly because of the straights, I think I should have stacked. But fairly in lap times, they were still very close enough. But I think, like
You need to come
managing
down. You need to come down on the 10.
come down on the 10. What do you mean?
It's come down on 10 to power with power. It was too quick. You got the 8s had no chance holding on.
Yeah, I think it was the straights, and look, this is it's not easy, man.
I'm not saying it is, George. You know I love you and everything else, but you got to get it. Come on, son. I demand perfection. Get on with it, George.
All right. Fair enough. No, but yeah, I think for next, we're really close to get like a balanced BOP that works for all. I think in the past races it's been a bit more equal. I think on this one, because of the big straights, I just kind of went up a bit more. But yeah, it is what it is. Maybe next race it will be biased towards the 8. We never know how things are going to be. So yeah.
Yeah, you never know. Well, thanks for coming to chat to us, George. Congratulations on what is a double win in the end for you here tonight, of course, with race 1 as well. So, congrats on all of that. And thanks for chatting to us at the end here as well.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Bye.
Thanks very much. George Gonzaga, the winner of both races. As we were chatting to him, Heinz Braun was waiting, but he's gone. Impatient. It is.
That's because George could talk. George talks
well,
races.
it's coming towards 11:15 in Germany, isn't it? So, and it's a Thursday night, so probably has to get off. But anyway, that looks like it's just about going to do it for us. I mean, fantastic finish to that second race, absolutely, at Imola here tonight. It is strange to say at Imola that the straights make such a big difference, but this is Radicals racing. You do spend a little bit longer on the straights than you do in, say, a GT3, certainly a high-speed prototype that you might see come round here at Imola. Even some of the open wheel cars that come around here as well, Super Formula Lights and faster, even they spend a little bit less time on the straights. So it does mean that the straights make a big, big difference. And you can remember, every layout is going to be a little bit different here. When we go to Road Atlanta, there might be a similar dynamic, but certainly the week after that at Silverstone, it's just going to chop and change, and there's definitely going to be weeks where the SR8 has its day a little bit more favourably than what it has had today.
Yeah, absolutely. Last time something I've been YouTube chat, but it must have been netcode or something. It was a bit weird. I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. It looked like Gullickson did turn in a little bit early. But there we go. I think maybe next week they just reduce the 10 by a little bit. You only need a little bit. If you can bring it down just a little bit, maybe a 1%, it might get everybody a little bit closer. But all in all, great racing. Better than I thought, to be honest.
Yeah, Radicals do always surprise you around here at Imola, especially considering the circuit that and the reputation that it has compared to how the races actually go. But glad to see 2 great races here today at the Radical Race Series. We'll be live same time, same place here on the JPB YouTube channel with the next round. That's from Road Atlanta, of course, next week for round 5. So make sure you join us then. I've been alongside James Parfitt here tonight from Imola. Until we see you next week for round 5 of this championship, it's goodbye for now.